Hey, so in this video, what I want to talk about is just break down the reason why I think YouTube changed my life over the last 2 years. And it all started as a little experiment. And I'd by no means do YouTube the same way that other people do on the growth side. And I'm not a video expert. I'm just somebody who uses video within my little ecosystem to create more depth and spend more time with other people. And I think it's about time that I just sort of open up a little bit behind the scenes and talk you through how my tiny 1.6K YouTube audience has generated over $1 million over the last 2 years, or supplemented that growth. So you're not going to learn anything about thumbnails and growth in bits and pieces. I will just express where it is in the funnel, how I use it, and maybe there's a takeaway or two for you to get there and apply for your own business. So one little bit here is I've just checked over the last 90 days, this my tiny channel, I say tiny compared to what's out there, right, has generated 28.4K views, of which the watch time is 649. That to me, the watch time is what matters, which actually blows my mind at how people are actually watching and interacting. And recently I've added some shorts here, but the point of all of this is to show you what it is I'm playing and how videos like these, for example, generate 5-figure customers and stuff like that, and the whole role that it has in the ecosystem. So the other bit I wanted to showcase a little bit is like some of these onboarding emails, most of them say, I found you or I binged your YouTube videos. So you can see the direct breakdown here is like the thing that made you join Modern Maker, which is my program. I've got like over 250 students at the moment. I was served one of your ads and then dug into your YouTube channel. Here's another one that says the way you show up on LinkedIn, on Instagram, not so much, but YouTube and email, right? And there's so many of these. I'm just showing you some of these because I'm going to get into the big why in a second. And actually thinking about this video made me reminisce and find out to like sort of scroll back and see, like you can see me here before I had the hair sitting in the kitchen on my iPhone. We're talking about like 200 views on this video. There's my buddy Zunke on Zoom with like 387 videos. This was literally like a Loom video that I did again before. So it wasn't anything fancy. We're looking at like 72 views or whatever it is. And I've had some people convert over the years with videos that had less than 100 views, right? So I always aim to share a video a week with insights and pull back the curtains as I am right now. And all that to say, it has a very big part in terms of the ecosystem. So the way that I run my YouTube channel and why it changed my life is because of consumption, right? I believe that bingers are buyers, and my YouTube channel sits as a supporting act to the main thing. So what I do, if we treat it like a funnel, I've got 50,000 followers on LinkedIn and about 3,000 followers on Instagram. These are primarily my channels that I like doing my top of the funnel and how I'm growing my email list. But here, this is organic, and then I use about $10 a day with Meta ads and Instagram ads. So this is, I'm going to say, paid acquisition, right? So regardless of where they come in from, they are then sent to a landing page that has a training where this in pink, because I didn't have a red color on my Remarkable, is a YouTube video. And this YouTube video sells my model or explains the model in a very similar way as I am talking here with a bunch of doodles, and it's a 3-step plan. I can attach it down below if you want to have a watch. But essentially all roads, everything in my bio line or when the ads are hit, go to this singular landing page that takes people to a YouTube video. So what I am looking at is basically this video over here, right? I explain how I made 1.19 million. I show proof, I show whatever. So it's basically the model. So all roads lead to that one video. And what you're looking at is essentially this as a landing page. So either people land here and they get to watch this video and then I sell them something, or I have another little funnel most recently that sells my game plan GPT, which is a very similar modo that sells this for $5. I'll put them down below so you can check them. But the premise here is the YouTube video, right? So all this basically says is I get top of the funnel content through organic LinkedIn and paid ads, and I send people to this funnel, and then they are wired to get 4 little emails that basically get them to consume and purchase a $5 digital product. Now, when somebody buys something for $5, they buy because they've either watched the video or they're nurtured by these little 4 emails, which have other videos in the back end as well, to turn a lead into a once-off customer. And once somebody buys something off me for $5 or $9 or something low ticket, then I send them from customer to client, right? That's how I've got videos where I get people to go from $5 to $5,000. But again, that's a topic for a different day. Now, the other thing that I do is I've written a daily email for the last 4 years, and I'm a writer at heart and run my community and consult, lots of people on a weekly basis. And I share insights, right, from my client work, right? The way that I do content is I don't really create it, but it comes from me collecting ideas and processes and things. Just like now, this is a process that happened. I feel like I'm just collecting what's already happened and sharing it by demonstrating the ins and outs of doing something. So my daily mail is at the intersection of me sharing what I do and showing what I do, showing the business side, sharing my hobbies, interests, values, and stuff on the life side. But what I do once a week or twice a week is I use email as a little router, right? As a little remote control, if you like, to point people to various videos. Why? Because when I do, that creates depth. And back in the day, I used to think as well, like, as long as they're on my email list and they consume, eventually they'll buy. But when I create bingeability and I create depth, then I basically shrink that period between a lead becoming a customer and a client, right? So I'm going to show you an example here of what I mean with this little doodle with, here's a recent video, right? So if I go back to my email list, these are all videos. See these little brackets where I send people to it. I literally go, here's a really short email, click that to watch. And then, for example, I'm in my back garden, nothing too fancy, but I am explaining in this specific video how you get a lead to become a customer by offering them little micro snacks and then bigger snacks and so on and so forth. But the point is, I'm taking somebody from a really short video and using it as a remote control to get them to watch. And that is the ask, right? And then grab a ticket for something, or I make an offer, or sometimes the offer on the email is just to watch that thing, right? There it is. Now, I take that as a premise, and I can also write a LinkedIn post. So you see, this is straight off the video. I'm basically summarizing the micro snack idea and whatever, breaking it down, and then attaching the video down below to create depth. So not only when we look at the doodle that I created before, I go from LinkedIn to email and then to video. More recently, what I'm doing is going from LinkedIn, right, straight to video as well. So that also creates depth. But from a repurposing thing or from an ideation engine, right, I take a concept like this, I talk to it for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then this becomes the premise of my posts as well. And I'll show you another example. Maybe I'm going like this, and then I'm saying, hey, I took my daughter's markers and I'm talking about a concept. And again, I am in a field, unedited, creating depth and sharing ideas and doodles as I speak to various concepts, right? And then I take the same thing as a premise and go to LinkedIn and share all of these ideas. You see, these are my doodles. That was the one that I shared on YouTube as well. And I break down what it was in a different way and share the YouTube video down below. So when we look at this, what I'm looking at, and the reason that I feel it has changed my life, is it has simply shrunk the life cycle. Because what used to happen was people would opt into my, let's say this is an email list, and then I would end up sending email after email after email after email. And I'd look at the onboarding form when somebody sent me money and they would say, you know, I've been on your email list for 10 months. And I'm like, whoa, this is insane. Versus this little method, I get people going, I've been around you for 24 hours, right? Or 3 days or 3 weeks. And all I'm looking at is to condense that time frame and make it shorter, right? So you can see in my messy little notes here, this person said, it's been fast. I heard about you yesterday evening and I'm in and I'm excited to build the system. This was a client that was onboarded last week where she bought a $5 offer. I sent her a little Loom video to say thank you, again in video. And then she sort of hopped on, and that bingeability created a lead turning into a customer and then a client within 24 hours. So it's pretty cool, eh? So to go back to this little doodle, I just want to separate a few things so you can better understand what it is that I am talking about, but hopefully you can now understand these little concepts, right? So the top half of this over here is basically the automated funnel, right? And it runs through YouTube. That's my mini VSL that tells my story and then shares my model. And, you know, the more people get to this through my LinkedIn, for example, I just plug it everywhere I go. So you have, if I just click on my profile, come visit my website, it will take you through that process to get you to that page that I mentioned. Once you give me your name and email, you get directed to this video. So this part is the automated bit. And then what I'll do when I'm looking at creating videos like this is I'm going to use data to find concepts and ideas primarily that I want to drill to create more depth here in phase 2 with the YouTube videos. So an example of that may be me going here and looking at my recent analytics on LinkedIn, regardless of what the primary platform is. This to me is a source of data, right? So there we go. I would click here, go to like the previous 90 days, look at what's been going on my LinkedIn. So I can see this is a clear signal in terms of how many impressions I'm getting, upwards trajectory. I'm doing something right in the short form realm. And then when I look at some of these data points, I'm going to look at something that I can turn into a video. So let's say the first one that comes to mind is, I don't know, just randomly click on one of these. Give someone a small snack. So you can already see that's where some of these happened. I've mentioned this before. This is a true story where somebody paid 9 and then 400 is weekly and then 5K there. And I will take this, for example, and I can create a little video, right? And right to that. So I now have my little angle. I can talk about this for hours and hours and just create a doodle like this, right? And explain what that is. But now I know that I'm going basically from these data points on LinkedIn short form and creating depth long form by creating these little videos. And I can then create little playlists. So for example, here, just for the sake of this little snack thing is the idea, right? So I'm going to highlight this as the idea of snacks. And I can come here and go, for my YouTube videos, what I want to do is just break down the idea of having snacks into different ways of being able to articulate it. So micro snacks for me are a concept of getting somebody to buy something small and ascending them into something bigger. So what does that mean? Do I have a philosophy about that? I may do and have a viewpoint that low ticket snacks are better than high ticket first. So you have to have a low ticket. That's my value, my opinion, my belief, however you want to see the word philosophy here. And then there may be a problem. So there's a big problem with people who sell high ticket, who think that's the way to do it. We solve this problem with micro snacks, right? And then I'm going to talk to a problem video. I might have proof, and I might talk about, showing proof, exactly like that LinkedIn post, breaking it down, showing my own proof or client proof in how they do that. And then I might also talk about snacks in the form of a plan. So if you wanted to set up your micro snack funnel, here's 3 ways you can do it. Now you can see how this doodle comes to life, right? Because we've created 4 little videos for every Monday, and I can use my YouTube as a remote control to get them over there. Now, the other thing that I'm doing consciously is making sure that under here, I'm also adding in my bio these little upsells, right? Or just ways for people to find me and direct me. And when I edit the video, let's say I'm editing this one, I can point people through the editor, I think it is, to a central video, which again points to something at the end, right? So I'm pointing people to that video at the end, which is my central one that I drew in this doodle over here, right there. So all that to say, I use YouTube as a nurture engine, not a growth engine. And it is the depth layer in my funnel that creates bingeability and turns leads to customers and customers to clients, or condenses the time period between a customer becoming a client or a lead becoming a client by getting people to watch these videos and spend time. So TLDR, you can go to your analytics on your short form platform, find those little ideas and the data points that signal that you can go deeper with something, and then you can angle it with like a philosophy, proof, promise, problem, and get people to consume. So I love the fact that I've only got 1,600 people that are watching. They're recurring, they're spending time, and I get to know a lot of those people on a much deeper level. You almost want to get someone to say, hey man, I feel like I know you now. So hopefully that was insightful. If you have any questions or thoughts, you can drop them down below. Hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.